Sup everybody, this is Karak with ACG, and it's my continuing Hub World adventure to bring you reviews that aren't 2 minutes long or filled with sponsored bullcrap. What we have here today is the PC title Nights of Azure. Originally released on the PS4 March of last year, Gus Studios brings it to the PC today. Let's see if this hack and slash tale of twisted demonic Digimon, half-demon, holy warriors, and maid uniform-wearing sacrificial lambs can keep us entertained, shall we? Now, Nights of Azure is available now on Steam for $29.99. As always, if you like the video, maybe subscribe. So here's my review for Nights of Azure. Hey look, one word meaning two things. Someone stole Hitman's tie, and a world where apparently everyone got milk. Graphics are up first. Now, while I played through this entire game on the PS4 originally, it was never a looker there and with a great deal of aliasing, but luckily no slowdown. I was hoping to get some robust options when it came to the graphics here on the PC, and I'm glad I didn't bet on that, because I could only get the game to go to 1080p in the options with 4x anti-aliasing, despite using both a 1440p and 4K display. And aside from one option for depth of field, that was pretty much it, resulting in the most bare bones of adjustments allowed within the title. This means you're stuck looking at the fairly mundane and altogether too sparse locations during battles with a serious amount of aliasing, unless of course you go outside and use your graphics card's options. I get that it's called a port, but come the hell on. Now, one thing I have to say is I actually like the overall world state and themes and tones that Nights used. Demons roam the night, so everyone stays inside, which leaves the two main characters to brave the outside world in their adventures as they go out and do battle in a little bit of a Dynasty Warriors but zoomed out kind of form. The problem is, just like the PS4 version, the world is absolutely lacking in impressive, interesting, or engaging model work, and texturing results in some of the worst Botox world feel we've seen, well, since this came out last year on the PS4. Now, the game's frame rate is rock solid. That makes sense because it looks like it's drawn about half of what it should be. Character design is okay, with enemies getting, at least to me, overall better designs than the main characters, which basically roll out like balloon-chested Transformers, jiggling and bouncing everywhere as the game takes any chance it can to have you leap into each other's arms. I can only assume Dead or Alive started licensing out its patented jiggle engine to other developers. As a package here graphically, altogether, not really that good. Sound, music, and voice. And as always, we're going to do sound up first. Have you ever heard someone fall into a dumpster filled with discarded cymbals from a drum set? Well, now you pretty much have. One of the biggest problems we continue to have with games like this is the saccharine rubdown many sounds get, most of the time to offer some kind of tonal relationship to anime that the titles like this have sometimes mimicked, and you end up having the same problem here. Add to that the fairly poor separation and positional audio, and many times the overall soundstage for the entire game is incredibly narrow, like you're listening to the entire game with a blanket over your fucking head and have it draped over the TV as well. Altogether, not at all good, and the variation we need in these types of titles, as well as really understanding where weapon spells and various sounds are inhabiting their own spaces in the sound spectrum, seems completely lost here. And of course that brings us to music, and it's okay. I mean, come on, it's like Buckethead joined a downtown band and they got paid to play, which means during battles you have wailing guitars like they're off in a race to see who can explode your head the fastest, and then during cutscenes you have oddly catchy piano tunes that play more like elevator music, I would say, than true tunes. It's okay, and I like various aspects of it, but not all of the elements really seem to come together, and it did at times feel a little bit mixed. And of course that brings us to voice. Now, while almost all of it is in Japanese, it does have subs, and it does have a couple errors, but overall it was easy enough to follow, and when shit was hitting the fan, it sure did seem like pretty much everybody on the screen was noticing. Characters do occasionally break into long battle diatribes while smashing the shit out of someone's face with a 9-foot-tall sword, but let's be honest, that's one of the cool parts. While there were issues here or there, altogether, pretty okay. Gameplay. And as always, a little bit about story. In the mysterious land Rustwell, humans battled it out with a demon and somehow won. Sadly, like your friend after that fight at Kmart, he ended up bleeding all over the place, and wherever his blood hits, it turns the humans into monsters that roam the night. Now, you play as Arnis and Lilith as two friends who find themselves stuck here, with you playing as Arnis as the main character, and I'm probably pronouncing those wrong. Now, gameplay really is reminiscent of some kind of hack and slash, much more sedate, sort of like a Dynasty Warriors on slowdown. Your main base is a strange, fairly empty hotel where you can save, level up, further the story, and join this arena, which is a series of battles that allow you to grind it out, as well as challenge others on leaderboards, each with a unique requirement in that battle. That was actually pretty cool stuff. For the most part, though, you're supposed to go outside and kill the bad guys, because nighttime outside is dangerous, right? Two friggin' newborns, those who are already bleeding to death and then just leap out the door into the darkness, because if you have a heartbeat and the ability to feel at least one button on your controller, it is not going to be dangerous to you. I mean it. You head out into battle, you run into empty corridors, which then teleport these creatures into the fight. You have a weak and a strong attack and a couple combos that you can utilize when you mix them up, as well as the ability to transform into various half-demon forms when you fill out your power gauge, and I have to admit those are stellar. But what the game doesn't have at any time is difficulty. I am telling you right now, this is one of the only games I've ever played where I turned it on and I swear to God I could hear it say, "I give up," right at the starting. Now, if anything helps out, this game does have a thing called servants, which are basically a large number of digital different monsters that you can take into battle with you, each represented by a card, and you can summon them, and they can offer different bonuses and special abilities depending on what's occurring in battle and what form you're in, and I really like that mixture there. They're just awesome. One second you're getting healed by your little creepy chirping fairy, and the next you're having attacks buffed by what can only be described as the oddest looking flying creature ever. It's really that push-pull of choice and reaction that occasionally elevates the game. Unfortunately, that lack of difficulty means you're elevating, and so basically, instead of just kicking ass, you're absolutely destroying ass. Now, despite the almost mawkish difficulty, when you progress, you have a very basic RPG system where you gain levels and skills, but really understanding your own synergy with the creatures you have is vital, and sometimes that's the difference between winning easily and, well, just winning in different setups. Notice I didn't say losing. This is really a game that also starts out nightmarishly slow. This is that old person you bump into in the grocery store, and then they start a meandering tale about merpeople and Batboy and their time in the service, and you're stuck nodding, hoping it'll all end soon. Now, it does get better about 85% of the way through. See, this is the oddity here. The game doesn't magically play different at the end, but its layering of various mechanics, use of the creatures you can summon, and all manner of fairly unique items meant that at the end, I was really enjoying myself more than at the starting. But really, when you think about it, that's like celebrating a crappy movie with an amazing ending. Now, controls also wonky, and animations for attack and aiming are never really exactly right, even with a lock on. It just always felt a little loose. What is strange is the fact that many times while playing this game a year ago, and again here on the PC, it wasn't absent of long stretches of enjoyable combat. It's just that it's far too hard to find, especially at first. The locations are drab, the monsters absolutely mind-numbingly stupid, and your own cavorting creatures are only cool for a while. I guess I can say that the story, though, continued to turn out well. I like the idea of these two protagonists. One is heading to one end and might see them going full Hellgirl. The other is on their way to make a sacrifice that might mean that she meets her end. I liked that story, and I liked the fact that you could make some choices on your way through it. Also, while this is a positive and negative, the fact is that the game is actually quite long, easily over maybe 16, 17 hours, and that's not in any way, shape, or form 100%. The problem is, it already overstays its welcome. Fun factor. Now, sure, there are moments of fun, but you have to absolutely dig for them. Some can be found in the arena, but it's really mindless combat. More can be found collecting, I think, the various creatures to fight with you, or when you end up facing against another creature you haven't seen before. At almost all other times, honestly, it's mindless battle with no semblance of difficulty at all. So as you guys know, I rate games on a buy, wait for sale, rent, or never touch it again rating scale, with rent being a deep, deep sale for PC titles. You know, this might be some easy achievements for somebody, but it really wasn't the greatest game on the PS4, and its port here with low technical options, married to a boring overall presentation despite boob cam, means that this title just really doesn't cut it. Now, it is at $29.99, which is good. It's not a completely worthless title in any way. That's very rare, but it certainly is one that you would probably not want to pick up anywhere near full price. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Make sure to check out Twitter, Patreon, the Amazon affiliate links, what have you. As always, peace out and enjoy the rest of your week.